Hello everyone and welcome back to Wildwater Bay, a thriving new city in the middle of nowhere on Earth, playing as the corporation of Abstergo Industries as we develop a city, our corporation, and ultimately also trying to settle in other regions such as the Arctic and Moon, trying to solve the Earth's energy crisis. And with that, we continue onwards with the Anno 2205 Megacity edition. So for starters, our city grew nicely in the last episode, and we already have the foundation of the megacity itself, right? We also developed a smaller island already where we're specializing our industries now, such as producing now rejuvenators on top of everything else to get us the demand cracking that we need to push for tier 3 population in my city. For this, we need one more ingredient, and that's the neuro implants, so we should start focusing on that. My balance looks rather fine right now, my money as well, because what we are about to do is going to be very expensive. So for this, we need to change the scenery and go back to the Arctic that we also successfully settled with our small corporation. And yeah, for my next industry, that is the neuro implants, we're gonna need the molybdenum mine, and that is a mountain site that we need with that. On top of that, we need workforce and, as always, lots of electricity. We continue developing this mine in one of my available mountain sites. We have, oh my goodness, 2 more, that's it, on this main island here. So I'm gonna try and push this one all the way over here, right, with the molybdenum. There it is in all its glory. This already brings my logistics down, so we already also will need to have a warehouse close by. And I'm gonna try and push right away 2 additional mines here to push out 33 molybdenum, right? Glorious it looks, as always. And it looks like they're using robots for this one, to extract the minerals out of the earth, out of the frozen earth, I should say. And yeah, with that, we can now go ahead and get the neuro module factory going. One of them costs me 20,000, 40 people, and 120 electricity. So electricity especially is something that we once again need to push. And for this, well, we have our geothermal turbines that I can now also push 2 times. Brings me in another 600 electricity in total. And this allows me now to build this factory here. Once again, this is generating heat, and the heat we're gonna need then for more people that we can sell here. Unfortunately, there is no blueprint mode, right? So unfortunately, whatever we're building is permanent right away. So if I wanna plan this one right, like so, we need to be quick about it, right? Because they don't have any heating now. And I wanna push this one in ASAP so that they will get the appropriate care that they deserve. Wait a second, here we also need to have at least 1 more. There you go. All right, and then we can push it, and then we can have these modules, and these modules also expand the heatable area that we have then. And yeah, this is really expensive, right? Each one of these modules cost me 30,000, so that's quite something there. Balance wise is also high, but we have a nice balance so far. Now this brings me into a whopping 19, which is not enough yet, so we can push further. For example, up here to the north, or I'm just building another factory entirely. Anyway, we can now push also more people right here, just as planned really, right? And here we have then this road leading up over there. There is my compression chamber. I'm considering moving this away somehow because it's not generating enough heat for the area. This one here is very nicely scalable, right? So we're gonna have another road all the way up here, not all the way to the top, because I think we should still get the workforce reduction modules in here. So that's this one here, the drone racks, right? So we can squeeze them in over there, and they're actually quite expensive, right? So if I have 2 of them here, this alleviates some workforce problem again that we can have. With that, we can also push another full row of housing here, right? So all the way over there. And then, well, then we can go ahead with once again another factory somewhere, probably here. So you just need to be very careful with that, right? As we really do need a lot of these down the road. Actually looks pretty nice too with those factories. Very flashy. And with that, we got the production solved. These people actually also need it, right? So the protectors, that's fine. And more importantly, we have 29 in surplus now. So with that, we can now get us the next trade route going. And this is now from the Arctic then, with the neuro implants. 16 we need in Wildwater Bay right now. So I'm gonna choose both of them. I'm gonna keep me a tight surplus there in Akia flows as well for my population there, and the rest we can sell over. Once I activate this trade route, we pay 250 in maintenance cost, but we also solve the demand for neural implants. So just watch my balance go up there real quick as the resources are coming in. There you go, right? Pushing 17,000 and probably 18,000 down the road as well. And more importantly, also a lot of more people move in. And with all of this said and done, right, we have now all the materials in that my operators demand of me. Which is great, because now we can upgrade our population to tier 3. Which is probably what I would like to do. The same also applies, by the way, for these guys here. So that we just push more. Especially here in the city center. And also get us the next corporate level in. So we are now, lo and behold, on our way to the startup company. You don't get a new title every level up, right? That would be probably a bit too much. Alright, before I can upgrade them, we need the next construction material, which is super alloys. Where are super alloys? Because they're not here in my temperate zone once again. Nor are they in the Arctic, so I wonder where are they? Well, we probably should also follow along our mission. It's rocket science. We should attract scientists because this will unlock us more production. For this, we still need to have one more thing, and that's a community center for my juicy people right over here. And let's just see where we can actually squeeze it in. Yeah, sorry pals, you just moved in, I know, but it's just such a perfect location for community center that we just need to have it here. There you go. And this is where people can basically meet and greet and chat about all the local things that are happening. I'm not particularly sure that we have ornaments in the Arctic, so right now, unfortunately, I cannot add anything else to this area here. At the very least, we can upgrade, so upgrading it is tier 2, the scientists in the Arctic. No longer do they have to live in tents, right? Now we have proper shelter against the cold. And as we get more building materials, we can also push a few more scientists now. As you notice, first of all, the cost is very high for these, but we're also out of electricity, but just barely. So I'm not going to push another mine just yet, as I don't think the demand is too high at the moment. So the scientists are coming in. They're looking a bit more flashy than before. Right, so they're here to stay. And they have a whole bunch of new needs, like a quantum computer, like luxury food, replicators, and also something for secrecy. We'll just see what that is. Way more important though is that they have unlocked us now the plasma smelter for the super alloys. Haven't unlocked it yet really. We still need a bunch more scientists before we can start with that. And there it is, 250 scientists. With that we have unlocked a bunch more buildings. Scientist Joel introduces himself and he greenlights the implementation of the Shuttle program. So we'll just see where that is leading us. At the very least, we have now the super alloy production unlocked. This will definitely, once again, require more electricity. So I do have exactly one more mine available, right? That's it. For the super alloys, we're gonna need molybdenum and aluminum. Let's just check it out. We don't have any molybdenum anymore. Nope. Nor do we have any aluminum surplus here. So what do I need to do? Well, gonna get my ship over there to the next island right next to us and claim this site here for us as well. The cool thing is the workforce is shared among the islands in a region, right? There's also, I think, a storm coming in right now by the look of it. So we should be careful. And let's get our road going right here. And yeah, we do have then some coastal sites, and way more important, we got some mountain sites over here that we can exploit. So let's go ahead and get me that road over there right away. Quite important that we also have some form of energy production. So I'm gonna go ahead and have me also a warehouse for the region, and then also my first production here. There's gonna be a better way of producing electricity soon. But for now, I still have to use those mines here. Let's build another one, right? And then we can start with, once again, wasting one for aluminum and wasting one for molybdenum. Now we're gonna need a lot of super alloys down the road, so yeah, we want to have a dedicated site for this. On top of that, we can now have our super or our plasma smelters. This once again produces energy and heat. However, we're wait a second, we could push it here, I think. If I'm being careful about it, something like that could work out if we have another row of housing here. Then it absolutely makes sense to start the production of super alloys. This one consumes now molybdenum and aluminum, so we can actually push another one. As far as I can see, perfect to get us 9 in. And these, well, of course, we want to start trading again. So I'm going to implement a new trade route And this time it's the super alloys from Archaea Flows to Wildwater Bay. And let's just keep one in Archaea Flows. So there we have it now, 3 trade routes. Each one of them actually costs me maintenance, right? Depending on the amount of goods that I'm transferring over. Now, of course, it's a bit hard to see during night. Well, the lights look pretty. And yeah, with that, we have now the super alloys in. And that means I can now finally upgrade to tier 3. Let's go ahead and do it with the very first block.
Looking forward to working with you.
Now, these are some beautiful buildings. And this is not even the highest ones so far. With those implemented, well, we do have now, first of all, of course, another corporation level up. But we also have now executives tier 3, that is. They're wanting now luxury food, IntelliWare, bioenhancers, and subway or public transportation, mobility. Now, of course, just upgrading them won't do. We also need to continue upgrading the lower tiers to tier 2 so that we have more people that want to go for tier 3.
Whoa, you generated some buzz. A lot of decision makers would like to have your support. Like where...
Of course, by upgrading my population, I need to be very careful because with that we also have, for example, more vitamin drinks consumption. The problem is I've went negative, so the trade route that we have to the Arctic doesn't work as well. That means that if I'm being too careless here, we're actually disrupting our all global trade network, right? So we gotta be very careful there to not have any major disruptions going. So I need to fix this ASAP. And with enough surplus, we can continue developing our city. Very nice. And as you can see, there's also now a central park forming right over here, just along the main road, basically. We might actually have the grand corporate headquarters on the other side of it, but we'll just see about that. It's kind of like central, as, you know, we have way more city over here, a lot more city over there. We could also make the grand corporate headquarters at the end of the main road here. That would also be an option that I'm still contemplating about. We have smaller side roads now, or main roads, like this one here with only a double layer, and this one here again. And just at these crossings we can have then another information center, for example, like this one. And perhaps also something like that. The more people we have, the more need for information. The only real limit is construction materials. I already pushed the production, but it's still not enough. But for now, let's continue with more executives. Moving into Wildwater Bay. Also looks particularly nice during daytime. There's even street shops down there. A market, for example. A cafe I can see down here. Beautiful. And basic services over here. We're really pushing through the corporation levels right now, also getting a nice income of money there again. With that, also finally we are a startup company. Next in line would be the insider tip. And we've also unlocked a bunch of new ships that we can now implement into our fleet. Since money is rolling in, I can also work on a few ornaments like this area here. We do have a bunch of options. Unfortunately, there are no fountains or anything like that we can plop down, so it's gotta be the billboards again. We probably could do another bus station somewhere around, a bike station you could have, somewhere over here, for example, right away at the edges, right? A bike depot, and then it's gonna be a greater park in the center, like so. That is coming together then right in front of it, and perhaps also some street lamps left and right. It doesn't take long for us to become a millionaire finally, or our corporation to breach 1 million credits, but bear in mind, well, this is just money we have right now. Doesn't mean that we're gonna have it in 5 minutes from now. What we have definitely pending there again is my water demand, so we need to consume once more a coastal site. We still have a bunch of coastal sites available in Wildwater Bay, but at some point we're gonna run out of them, and then we'll find new solutions hopefully. After all, we want to continue with the spaceport, and since we have enough executives, we can now push for the next level.
You know what work is, you do. Okay.
And as Wildwater Bay continues to grow, we can finalize our launch pad.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Landing zone within reach. Preparing for touchdown.
A historic moment. The eyes of the world are upon you. Phase 3 has begun. The second wave heads for the moon. You came a long way, but there's still another 250,000 miles to cross for you. Your colonists are waiting for orders.
And once again on the global map, we can now finally enter our very first lunar sector, and we once again have the option between 3 sectors: the Novikov crater, the Iwamato crater, and the Mare relictum. Each one of them has different bonuses. One is for ornamentals as a project, the other one is for rare materials. Each one of them has different sizes as well, where you can build something, and each one of them has also different traits that give you bonuses or penalties for industries. For my main base, I would probably like to go for the Mare relictum. It's one giant crater with a lot of buildable space, and it also has, I think it is, the hotel. So let's go ahead and take over this sector.
You have entered Phase 3 of the Lunar licensing program. Your shuttles have arrived at the designated settlement territory. You are required to establish a lunar colony there and begin helium-3 extraction. The development of a stable fusion reactor is your primary objective. Additional information. Hostile activities detected near your settlement territory. Be careful.
I was expecting this.
So, here you are. The moon. Your very own piece of it. In the days of the first wave, there were ambitions to make this sector a tourist attraction. Unfinished business, as you can see. And now our hopes are on you. The performance of the second wave's first colony will prove if the lunar licensing program is worth being continued.
Alrighty, here we are. And things are getting really expensive now.
Only found moon colonies and craters. They offer the best protection against cosmic radiation and meteor impacts.
So for starters, we need to claim that sector. There's also meteor showers coming down now. So with the Arctic, we have the heating. On the moon, you have meteor showers that you need to protect against. So that's gonna be our primary challenge here. 100,000 credits for the very first building. And with that, we have claimed ourselves the moon. Let's actually start with the road right away. Even the road is expensive. Right, we're gonna make a double road for this one, all the way through that center. As a new construction material, we do have titanium plating now that we'll need to implement as well. And on top of that, we need the shield generator. In this radius here, we can actually build stuff. There's gonna be a bigger one later down the road, so I'm gonna place my first one here. And with the thing in mind that we will probably need to replace it then as well.
The moon has no atmosphere. Even the tiniest meteor particles could do tremendous damage to your colony. Energy shields.
Doesn't it look fantastic? I love the moon. One of the most beautiful areas in this game. Now, with that out of the way, let's get our first colonists in, the employees. And let's just see how many we can actually squeeze in there. Let's make a block here and a block here. And with that, the miners are moving in. The miners want oxygen, rejuvenators, bioenhancers, and a repair station. Also, we have the mission now, attract enough miners, produce oxygen, produce the titanium plating. Let's have a look at titanium plating first. That once again requires a mountainside that we would have then over here.
Official. The sector holds the first colony to meet the standards of the Lunar licensing program. No cause for complaints. Don't leave our good old Earth out of the picture, though. To send your lunar yield down, you must establish additional landing stages for cargo shuttles.
And with that, we have a titanium production of 10 per minute. That's enough for the moment. Next in line, we need oxygen. This also requires a mountainside, so let's just find us one. There is one very close to the city, or to the settlement, I should say. Gonna have my road though, going over here, right? So that we can start with that over here. The oxygen extraction, or the water ice. So also give me a nice shield. And then also my oxygen separators. To have my very own oxygen production. 0 is actually fine. I probably will need to push this one a bit further. And I can see that we also will need our logistics setup. So that's the transportation center. Right over there. With that, however, we have another problem. Energy. I don't have enough anymore. And for this, well, we do need yet another mountainside. And it's probably going to be this one here for solar panels. Interestingly enough, there's the tourist hotel that we need to renovate as a sector project. More on that later though. Things are getting really expensive here. As you can see, one building for residents costs me already 7,500, so a block would cost me 45,000, and that's just the residences. And with enough miners moving in, we have unlocked the ability now to upgrade our spaceport once again, so that we can also start trading with Earth.
Convoy of unidentified vehicles just crossed sector border.
Hello, do you read me? Please come in. I'm Xander Haynes. Sorry to invade your territory, but as I see it, we have the same enemy. I speak for the Lunar Excavation Corps, if you still acknowledge it.
Yes, yes, the sheep run back to those who once sheared them. Beware, the wolves are at the door.
Listen, I was told to keep this confidential, but you see, LEC fugitives secretly fled to Earth. The Global Union didn't find a proper solution, so they transferred them to Arctic protectorates. And now I've been informed that Drake is leading a battle.
Alright, so a good old Drake again. We can reach the next cooperation level, or we just do the mission here that will also reward me with magnetites. Magnetites is something that we're gonna need, so let's do the mission. Now for this mission, we can already level up now to advanced level. This would give me more resources, and we're talking about way more resources, like 8 times more magnetite than before. So I definitely want to go with the advanced mission. However, we need to also upgrade our fleet, and that is getting a bit expensive now. Let's have the turtle upgraded once. Let's have the spark, the flare, and yeah, for the stinger, I don't have iridium that I'm gonna need for that as well. So I can't do it all. I think we should be fine with this though.
There you are. Not a minute too early. The Orbital Watch. They've brought in everything at their disposal. They know we have no means to defend ourselves, and still they threaten us with wave after wave of battleships. We are fully dependent on you for support here.
You wish you'd never set foot in our territory. The first wave will wash away the second.
Alrighty. I'm not scared. And that's my fleet. A bit upgraded now, as you can see. And yeah, neutralize both orbital watches that we have over there. And that's some, yeah, very powerful ships that we need to actually destroy in this mission. So let's be careful about it. Let's gather some items, collect them, so that we have something to use against that ship. Yeah, very nice. An EMP pulse, that helps me out a lot. Alright, they're both in one location right now, so I think we should do this. I'm gonna set up the EMP pulse right away, and we're also gonna use both of my missile barrages that we have to make a massive damage here in one go. I can also get my support fleet in and protect my fleet with some shields, and this should actually be enough for that. There's the first one going down, and that's number 2.
Well done.
That should be some juicy rewards here. Nice. And also level up. And we can upgrade the Stinger now. That's my next ship. So Drake has been defeated once more, and we can now finalize our moon base.
The landing stages are ready to accept cargo shuttles. Now you can establish interorbital transportation routes.
Very nice. That's what we need.
That doesn't mean your colony is safe. The supply lines from Earth are easy targets. I'd recommend you.
And next in line, we do need to attract officers tier 2 for the moon. These guys here, that's gonna take some time. The rejuvenators we already produce on Earth. Bioenhancers is something that my executives need, and also my miners. So we should probably work on that. For this we need a bunch more miners. Probably a bit more money too. We'll just see. Let's get me another block going over here of miners. And I think here we can also squeeze in a bunch more. And there we have them. The Keep Gatherer, Rare Earth Elements, and also my Cybersynthetics Factory. And yeah, let's just check it out. We do need a mountainside once again. Probably somewhere all the way over there. Can't hurt to also get some titanium with us. Unfortunately, I still only have the small yield generator, so nothing I can do there. Let's build it. And let's also get a logistics center going here, because it's pretty far outside. We want to get some buses going. And then we have the rare earth collector, consuming a lot of electricity, by the way. Let's build me a second module right away as well. By the way, only the main building needs to be in the shielding, right? These guys here don't. And interesting enough, they gather it actually outside of the crater, on the surface of the moon, right? And then transport it down here all the way to my logistics center. Alright, gonna need a bit more electricity, so we're gonna do this right over here with more solar panels. Gonna have 2 right away for a whopping 900 electricity, and then we can afford the Cybersynthetics Factory. Gonna do this also right over here as my very first one. This is only producing 1 though per minute. That's not a lot. Each consecutive one costs me another 9,000. Gotta be careful there how many we actually produce. Okay, let's check it out. We have a lot of rare earth elements right now, so we can really make some big factories here, as you can see. Probably will need another one then. Let's make this road here. There you go.
Construction options expanded.
Nice as it is. And yeah, I probably would like to go with another one right behind my logistics center over there. With that we produce 6 at least, and we would still have room for more, right? So my balance says a very positive outlook here. This provides also more miners again. And with that, we could try now something else, and that is building us the maintenance station. That costs me a whopping 50 plating though. Lucky as though we are blessed with a fast forward mechanic, and there you go. Maintenance station we can build. Let's have it right here by the main road. And this beauty will now take care of the vehicles and repair them. Cost me 3,000 on the upkeep, and look at that, how my money is melting away. However, we still have an ace up our sleeves, and that is, yeah, well, the bioenhancers. There you go. We do need them in Wildwater Bay. We need more than expected, 7. So I will need to ramp up my production even further to get at least 10 over. Yeah, let's make it around 12, right? There you go.
Transfer route.
Transfer has been created. This should lead to an increase in balance again. There you go. Because my people have now, my executives have no bioenhancers. I will still need, though, more production here. Even that was not enough. We still have enough rare earth elements, but I'm running out of electricity now. That is surplus now? Perfect. So what we can do here now is I could also implement my module that reduces the energy consumption for this building here. And since we have quite a few modules, right, they consume a lot of electricity. So this would make sense. Let's just see how that affects me. We will need a few of them, unfortunately.
Warning. Energy demand too high. Countermeasures recommended.
In fact, it's probably the best if I just get another solar panel going right out here. Yeah, and with this going, we have the electricity, but we're pretty much now out of workforce. Let's go back to orbit and check out transfer route once again. Unfortunately, that's still not enough quite there, but we're getting close. It's at this point though that Drake is also now blocking Wildwater Bay itself. So we have an invasion. Without further ado, we are rushing back to our capital, and what do we see? A hostile fleet right in front of my harbor. They're blocking it, and that makes it unable for me to actually get anything done. Much worse though is that my balance continues to reach rock bottom, right? Because we're running out now of neuro implants, and my executives run out of bioenhancers as well. So we need to hurry up here. Let's call my support fleet. With the blockade, we are actually getting negative now, I think. And we're also dropping below 20,000 on the population. This is very bad. So if this happens and you have no safety, then the game is basically over. Lucky us though, we have a bit of a buffer here, but we still need to hurry up. My fleet has arrived. Let's destroy them.
Transfer route suffers from inadequate supply of goods.
I'm just very happy that we just upgraded the fleet not too long ago. So this is easy. And after a while, we have destroyed enough ships, so Drake retreats. And with that, my population recovers, and so is my balance. On the next day, of course, we continue with upgrading. However, a new problem arises now as the city is growing, and that's my increased demand. So we were actually quite lucky. The bioenhancers work, right? So we have a surplus there. However, on the other side, my neuro implants, look at that, it's negative 32. So this will take some time to fix. The demand for rejuvenators skyrockets says I can't stop that any longer. So we need to claim a new island, and that's going to be this one here. We will need to think about, yeah, acquiring a new sector altogether though, really soon. So my starter city here, I would still like to keep, of course. Yeah, it's pretty much full with the industry that we have. I still have a slot here, but I would probably like to use this for a tidal power station. Makes also a bit sense to have this so far outside. And this gives me a whopping 1,700 electricity. Just enough to finally settle on this new island here. And this is going to be my rejuvenator production island, right? So we are really focusing on just one product on this one. What we're going to need for this also is once again a logistical center right over there. It's kind of like the warehouses in Anno 1800. And yeah, then we can just start with our first algae farm again over there. It's also tempting to use some of these coastal sites for water, but I think we might be running out of rejuvenators then at some point, so I'm not doing this. Yeah, we're gonna have a bit more space over here. Right now, the surplus of 79 should be fine for a while. Now, for purchasing a new sector, which is one of my next goals actually, because we need to specialize our industries, we need to find a sector in the temperate region, right? We got these here available for that. This is more Arctic territory, this is more lunar territory, then we have the tundra, which is way later because it's an end game zone. But for now, we need to start on one of the other temperate zones. And we can see each one of them once again has sectors. I want to find something that gives me a nice boost to farming overall, right? So this is a very tiny island area, more or less, and it's really just very good for mining, which would be a great bonus there. Then we got the Viridian Coast, which has the ocean nourishment, so everything coming out of coastal facilities is increased by 10%. That sounds pretty cool. So Walbrook Basin is probably one of those that I would like to get. We have a dam project here that would give me a lot of electricity. On top of that, every agricultural building consumes less energy, which is nice because we're gonna need a whole bunch of them. The problem here is that this one here costs twice as much as what we have right now on my bank account, so we need more money. That means, well, we need to upgrade more people again to the next level executives. creating a real dense downtown area here in Wildwater Bay. Cooperation level 20, medium cargo shuttle has been unlocked, and another 100,000 as a small gift. With all that, we also unlock finally our subway station, the metro station. It's a pretty big building and a very costly one at that as well, but it provides another nice service to my executives, and every service that we provide for them right now gives me a massive income boost. So I would like to do this right away. It's a pretty cool building, right? And I probably would like to have it with its center looking more or less towards one of my crossings. So in this case here, I'm going to move my information center to the other side. So we can have this one here with its main road right, or its main building right here by that. And yeah, look at that balance exploding thanks to the metro station by a couple of thousand per minute now, pushing us beyond 30,000 on the income and also towards 50,000 in population. Let's check out my farming area. This is how it looks for now. And yeah, it continues to grow, of course. So we will be running out of space here at some point. Water-wise, we're negative again as well. So I'm going to use once again one of my coastal sites. And this doesn't even break me even that much. So I need to build me another one right away. With enough rejuvenators, we can finally also implement the trade route that we need to finally get something to the moon as well. And that is, of course, the rejuvenators. 3 we need right now, only 65 we produce. So this should be fine. And of course, we're just going to make it very tiny so that we have a bit of a surplus there, like 5, to be done with it.
Colonists are constantly exposed to cosmic radiation. Their spacesuits fend off some of it. The rest is neutralized by potent medicine like this.
With the rejuvenators in, my miners have everything they need to level 2, level up. And that's of course exactly what we're doing right here. Once again, this looks a bit more sophisticated now than before. And we get tier 2, the officers in. They need a lunar lunch, anti-grav compensators, androids, and healthcare. And while in the area, we should also have unlocked now the big solar shield with that. There you go. So we don't need to place that many anymore. Let's have it here. So I can now have this district here forming.
Attention. Under provision of specific consumer goods detected. Attention. Under provision of specific consumer goods detected.
Now, once again, this was very expensive, but of course we continue with providing the lunar lunch to these people and follow our mission there as well. And this one here requires the aeroponic farm and also space galley. Both of them, well, are pretty expensive, 40,000 for one building, and they consume moon ice. Of that we have enough at the moment, so I just need those farms. And let's have them a bit further outside. I'm actually gonna go ahead, and I don't want to move them around so much, right? So once we place them, I want to forget them. So in this case, let's have it just around the crater. So this is one of the difficulties on this map, that you need to watch out for those craters because you cannot build close to them, of course. Yeah, some over here. This looks like a very beautiful, big, vast open space for a farming area. And let's just get this one done somewhere here. That's one massive field, also costing me a bit of electricity there. And then we can have those farms. And we're gonna need 11 lunar lunch already. Sounds like quite a lot actually to me. It's a pretty similar looking building with the lunar lunch that we can implement then right over here.
I'm glad you're not expecting your colonists to live off nothing.
And holy cow, that's one big module. With the lunar lunch coming in, we finally have unlocked the next step, the fusion reactor. Fusion energy is our best hope to meet humanity's increasing energy demand. And this one here will take quite some time, as when I check it up, the fusion reactor costs me 720,000 credits, and that's just one building out of the whole chain. So this will take quite some time before I can afford that. In the meantime, we can continue with another sector quest here for the treasure hunt that we are on. And we need to find now underwater warehouses. Or maybe, yeah, that's that. And tow them to these submerged structures. We got 2 of them. One is over here. And there looks to be something down here in the water. Yeah.
Not bad. However, there's still one little problem with the whole deal.
Alright. Still fighting them tsunamis. Not expecting an answer. Just let an old man wax philosophical. But you better build something that lasts. So, in order to get them up, we now need to provide materials, and that's cobalt. And we need to have a surplus production of 10. So right now it's 0. So I will probably need to use my cobalt mine that we have over there and just push more upgrades. Unfortunately, that's not enough. So we need to build another one, right? And sooner or later we need to do this anyway. So let's do it now to get that surplus. And yeah, now we need to wait 5 minutes. Of course, we're not doing that. We continue with the upgrade for more executives. And of course, I would also like to grow with the city itself. I think it would lead to a nice transition having then some smaller buildings out here. And then finishing this with a normal road. Ooh, I'm relieved that we actually closed it off here right away, just on the very last tile. So this double road here continues then all the way up into something else that I have no idea yet. Right, we're gonna need a whole bunch of other buildings then as well down the road. So this is something we can do. This is something we cannot do, even though I could think about a solution here, going like that, and then closing it off with a smaller building like these here. Right, this actually works out just nice. Unfortunately this one, what went wrong on this one, actually? Yeah, it's this row that doesn't really fit in there, so we can make a smaller road into that area. And since we have enough building materials, we can also go ahead and upgrade more people to executives in downtown. And I think that city is growing quite nicely. Oh no, unfortunately I need to fix a few things again, and we continue onwards then with Wildwater Bay and probably fusion reaction in the next episode. Stay tuned.